Hi, everyone. This is James Gameboy of very little fame. Happy birthday, PIGSquad. What a delight, and what a joy it has been to my life to have PIGSquad in it. And I've learned so much about game development just over the last few years. Imagine if I had been here from the beginning. Anyway, today I'm going to be speedrunning, seeing if I can make a functional sort of old school JRPG style game in Pulp, which is an engine created specifically for the Playdate for people who don't know how to make video games good. And I've been using Pulp for 2 years now, and I've gotten much better at it. So I'm giving myself a little bit of a time limit, and I'll probably do some editing to fudge it a little bit. But let's see if we can go from a vague plan to now what I would consider, a functional game. So Initial Daydream is the RPG I've been making for the last year or so. You've maybe seen it in some, like, the Finish Your Game Jam, and some other PIGSquad videos. And we're just going to start from scratch and see what happens. I'm calling this one Well, because of the vague idea I came up with. So you can see this is the basic start. I'm also using a plugin called Pulp Plus that just adds some quality of life features. So every Pulp game starts off looking like this. You've got your different tile types up here in the right. You've got your specific editor right here, and your game window, and there's a few other tabs over here. We're probably not going to bother with the song and the sound today, just because we got to get something going. So we're mostly going to be hanging out in the room and in the script. So Pulp has 5 different layers that they have labeled up here. We have exits. We have the player character itself. We have sprites, which are solid objects that can be interacted with. You can even see this script down here. We have items, which are not solid, which can be interacted with. And we have world tiles, which can be solid or not solid, but cannot be interacted with. And that's pretty much everything you get to make your game with. And that was plenty for me. So this is sort of the basic room that you're given. Here's the basic character you're given. And today, what I want to do is make a couple of rooms, one of which is sort of like the town, one of which is the area where you can hit random battles. There will be a room for the battles themselves, and probably a room for like a victory screen, and that sort of thing. So obviously, in order to have an RPG, let's actually get rid of this real quick. We're going to open up our field quite a bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, which is good, because perfect is the enemy of done for a video. We're just going to get rid of all of that for now. So we've got ourselves a little guy. We're going to put him right in the center. We're going to erase him for the most part, because we can do better. That stickman is quite nice, but I think we can do better. Oh, because I doubled. I was like, why is that going so slow? Because I doubled that by accident. There we go. Look at that. He's lively. I'm actually going to rename this to player left. The reason we're going to do that is because we're also going to make... Oh, keep doing that. That's why. So this copies frames. This copies tiles. So everything in Pulp is tile-based. We're going to call this one player right. And we're going to flip. Now, when you run the game as is, what's going to happen is he moves, but he doesn't turn left and right. So the Pulp is basically set up to have one player sprite that is by nature static, and maybe it'll animate, but it's kind of made to look like it's going in any given direction, like that stickman was before. So if we want to make it go left and right, we got to go into the script for the player and on draw do. There's the whole Pulp script document is actually quite reasonably lengthed. It's not very long to get through everything, and you can see the table of contents here. I use hardly any of these math functions. I use a couple of these. It's really all about events and a couple of these functions, and you can get yourself a whole dang game going. So the event we're calling for the player is on draw do. Actually, you know what? Might want to do this on update, actually. So draw is done every, I think for Pulp, it's every 20 times a second, basically. So every frame, and your frame rate is locked at 20. On update is every time that you press a key. So if you go left or right. And now we're going to see if I remember how to do this, because I only have to do it once per game. And that's like one of the first things that I do. So my guess would be if event dx is greater than 0, then swap. So if it's greater than 0, which means you go to the right, swap player right would be, I think, is my guess. Let's see if I got that right. Now we're going to do this. Actually, even better than that. We'll just do else if, or just even else should work. Swap player left. And one thing I really like about Pulp is if you can see how whack this is. If you go away and then come back, it reformats it. Assuming your script can be compiled. It will not let you have an uncompilable script. So let's see if I did this right. So we go left, we go right. Look at that. You can do up and down as well, obviously. But we're not going to bother with that today. Okay, so we've got our player going left and right. I can't believe I got that in one try. Next up, we got to make our world. Let's put our player over there, actually. And we're going to make some world tiles. We'll make a new one. We'll call this one well 1. Actually, one system I've liked a lot, actually, is doing well upper left. Oops. Excuse my nervous drawing. And from there, actually, I'm going to make that like that. We're going to get rid of this. This way, one of my goals actually for this video at the end is to see if I can use the crank to make this thing move and get you into the well using the crank instead of just the exit, which is a thing I've never successfully done in a game. So we are going to find out if I am able. That looks kind of like a well, especially if you turn that off. So what I'm going to do is make these all solid, except for this one. So you can turn on your solids, and you see that that one is not solid. We're even just going to do this too. And we'll put an exit here. It's not going to go anywhere yet, but that's sort of our plan. So for now, this is our kind of main town-ish world hub where the other characters will be. We'll call this room town. And we'll make a new room called the well. We're going to make a new tile here that is like the rope that you would climb up. And this will serve as sort of a fake exit, because it itself is not going to be solid, but we will put the exit there to go back up. Rope 2 we will make solid. So that way, this is sort of our play area down here. And we'll make our exit right there. This exit is going to go to our town. It'll put you just outside the well. So when you walk onto this exit, it will take you there. And then we'll take this exit, and it will take us into the well. Take us just inside the well. So let's give that a go. We have our well. It's a solid well all the way around. If you go down here, it takes you down into the well. Then you can go back out. All right. So that was entirely world tiles and exits. Now, if we want to make characters, though, we will need them to be sprites. So we're going to take their default sprite here. We're going to call this person the healer. And then we're going to turn them from a computer into some sort of little guy. And then just the classic. You can't mess with it. Just the bobbin. Just a little bob. So our healer will be up there. The default behavior of a sprite when you make it is basically just to say something and play a sound, which is fine, but, you know, it conveys information, but it doesn't really do anything. And in the code to replicate that pretty much perfectly, you would just say on interact do say you're healed. Go get 'em, tiger. And then you could say sound. I don't have any sounds, but that's what you would do. So now we get into the game. Go bump into this guy. You're healed. Go get him, tiger. It's that simple. And we're going to make ourselves a new character. This person will be the shopkeep. It's got sort of a unibrow situation and a cap. Yeah, how about that? Look at this guy. Classic bob. Arms will flail out. That looks pretty funny. And for this guy, we're going to have on interact do ask. What are ya after, Chumbo? So ask is a function like say, except then it brings up a little menu. And you have to say option, buy, then whatever that option would be. Right now I don't have anything for you, so ain't got nothing for you. And option level up. Then you need more experience. Which even if you had plenty, he wouldn't be able to do anything for you because we haven't implemented that yet. But now we'll just kind of get a look at what... So here's say, here's what say does. Bump into him. You're healed. Go get him, tiger. And I have this basically set up so you don't really use the A button. You just bump into people. What are you after, Chumbo? I'd like to buy. I ain't got nothing for you. Bump him again. What are you after? Level up. You need more XP. Very simple. But if we need that stuff, you know, to work, to get yourself some stuff to buy and things to level up, we're going to need stats. I'm going to do all of the stats actually in the game logic because you're just going to be doing one-on-one fights. And the player object tends to get pretty cluttered. So as much as that you can put in code for anything else is ideal. So we're going to call PL max health equals 10. PL health equals PL max health. And if you are a coding person, this all is pretty classic making a game stuff. But basically, when the game starts, you will have 10 health maximum, and also your current health will be 10. That's what that code means. And we'll say PL attack equals 5. PL EXP equals 0. And PL money equals 0. Let's give you 10. Let's give you What's the economy like in this game? Let's give you a 20. I think that's all the stats we'll really need for the character. I forgot, I was also going to do another room called status. In status, we're gonna put, this is like a really basic version of this. So I'm making that down there. That's basically just the holding pen for the player character. So what we're gonna do, this is gonna be a little more complicated. In Pulp, cancel, the cancel event is basically for when you press B. Confirm is A, cancel is B. Return X equals PX. So basically, X-axis is where the player is currently. Return Y, the player's current Y-axis. Return room equals event room, the current room that you're in. When you press B, it saves all that information. Then go to, what's the coordinates for this? One really nice thing about Pulp is you can go to a coordinate, hover, and it'll tell you what it is. So now when we play it, if I press the B button, it takes us to this little spot, and we're trapped in there. If event room does not equal status, then do that. Otherwise, go to return X, return Y, in return room. So now, if we are not in the status room, pressing B takes us to the status room. If you're in the status room, pressing B takes you back out here. Should even work in the well. Here we go. Got that working in 1. In the status room, this is where the player script got really full in Initial Daydream, and I'm sure there's some way I could have done it more efficiently. On draw, if event room equals status, label health, colon, and then you use the curly brackets to put in variables. PL health over PL max health at, we'll call that 2, 2. And we'll label attack, PL attack, 2, 3, so just below that. And we will label money, PL money at 2, 4. And lastly, label EX experience. I forgot another curly bracket. PL experience. So now, when we go to our status room, we get our little info. And, you know, I guess I could just fill that in all black and it would look better. So maybe we'll do that. But now we can check our status. But what good are stats if there is no one to fight? So now, need to make ourselves a monster. And in this specific case, the monster is going to be purely aesthetic, and we're just going to make a little square guy. Here's like his back haunches. He is not happy to see you. He'll just be kind of a round... Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, he's so angry. Oh my, he's so mad. Let's move those legs up a little bit. Get him stanced up. There we go. Look at that. And he's just got a little tippy tail. We'll animate this guy pretty simply. Just the classic method. You can't beat it. I kind of like that actually. I don't know what it looks like, but it looks like something. Oops, not that. This one. That looks very funny. I'm gonna do a little of this action. So every time he comes down, or every other time he comes down, he says bop, 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 bop. There we go. That never gets old for me. Just a guy who says bop. We're gonna do a similar thing over here, actually. Every time he goes down, he wiggles his little tail. Actually, what we could do is double this frame rate. There we go. That's more pleasing to me. Look at that guy. Look at him. He's so angry. You're going to have to fight so many of this guy. So that's our monster. Now, you're not just going to see a monster in town. You're only going to see him in the battle screen. The battle screen. We're going to do it classic FF style. And I mean FF1 style, where you are completely cordoned off from whoever you're fighting. You are on complete opposite sides of a river or something. And then what's really nice about only having one monster is we can just draw him over here, because we're not going to run into anything else for right now. In the future, you could make it so whenever you go to a battle in the well, in the code for the room itself, it kind of rolls a dice or something to choose which monster you run into. But for right now, it's just going to be this dude. But this dude, all of his code, instead of being in him, he's actually the room. So the room tells us what his stats are. So he looks strong, but he's not. Money give equals 10. EXP give equals 10. I don't know. Well, we're making up this economy on the fly. So now to check if all that stuff works, the player in the draw event, if event room equals battle, then, so similar thing to the status room, but we're doing it in the battle room. We'll label enemy, enemy health, enemy health, and health over. Oh, I didn't make that, so we will make that. Okay, so then when we go to the battle room, that's what we will see. However, how do we get to the battle room? That is where our first real tricksiness with the systems come into play. So in the general way that an item functions in a pulp game is you walk over it and it says something and then it disappears. And that's not what we want to happen if we want this to work. So we're going to fill this entire realm with discs. Maybe we'll give you a little bit of a grace period around here. And we're going to change this to wild area. And then we will make it look like something. So anywhere you walk on one of these, it will currently do the thing it just did, where it says you found a floppy disk. But we don't want that to happen. On collect, which is the default behavior of an item. So normally it would say on collect do say this, swap white, which is that default white tile that is built in, and then it would add one of this item to your inventory. We do not need to collect the wild area at all. What we need it to do is to have a chance to take us to the battle arena. So we're going to say rand encounter equals random 110. Basically rolling a d10. If rand encounter is greater than or equal to 10, which it's never going to be greater than, but why not? Then say battle. Let's just see how that goes. Let's see what 1 in 10 is like. Battle. So we would have hit one there. Hit another one. Hit another one. Oh, now they're really coming in hot. Okay, so that's what that's like. Then go to, I think in Initial Daydream it's 17.7 in battle. There we are. Whoops. We're gonna move those stats. I have an idea. You know what? We're just gonna move that over some more. And we'll call it 6-1 for now. We'll check that later. In the meantime, we've got our random encounters going. The enemy has stats that you could see. on the screen, so that is good. Now we got to make ourselves a little battle system. What I did in Initial Daydream, actually, was I made sort of a swords icon that is your fight icon. So instead of just being fully menu-based, you kind of walk around. So there's fight, and it's an item. And then we have run item. And then in the fight icon, I'm going to do some more code. Collect, do. Then we're just going to make a menu at 6, 5. Then option attack. Then we needed to do something. For now, let's just say n health minus equals PL attack. Let's get ourselves into a battle here. Attack. Let's see, his health's going down. Oh, it's going all the way into the negatives. We really got him this time, folks. And then when you fight, it's got to send you back. Go to 19.7. And what it's also got to do is let the enemy attack. So it's going to send you there, ignore, and that basically tells the game not to let you do anything. So if I just left this here, the game would keep going, but you couldn't do anything. And then we're going to tell event room to call enemy attack, which is an event that we have not yet made. On enemy attack, do PL health minus equals n attack, then listen. So now we can sort of have a battle. Battle. Attack. And see, his health went down and our health went down. Attack. This all happens instantaneously, which is not satisfying. So what we're going to do is shake 0.3. And we're going to put in a wait command here. And then in the battle event, so on the enemy attack, it's going to do that. It's going to shake 0.3, wait 0.4, then. You can actually do shake then, but this is what I wrote, so this is what we're doing. This is the new work. Attack. There we go. Look at that. Okay. Another thing we're going to have to build in is on enemy attack, do. If n health is less than or equal to 0, then go to return x, return y in return room. Otherwise, do this. So every time we attack, it will call this event. If the enemy still has health, it will attack us. If it doesn't, it should send us back to where we were. Attack. Okay. There we go, sort of. It sent us to 0, 0. Why did it do that? Oh, because when we get into a fight, it doesn't remember where we went. So on collect do, say battle, then return x equals event px. Return, we could just copy this from that other bit of code that we already knew worked, but here it is again. And the reason it sent us back to that top left corner in the first room is because if you don't declare a variable, it makes them all 0, which is nice because it could just crash the game if it wanted, but instead they just default every undeclared variable to 0. So it puts us in 0, 0 in room 0, which was that one. So let's try that again. There we go. Oh, but I forgot to tell it to listen again. So we will put that. So now we can still play the game. So what we've got here is a kind of, sort of functional little game. We can talk to this guy, say, then PL health equals PL max health. So we're 10 out of 10. We go down here, we get ourselves in a little trouble. Attack this dude. So now we have 8 out of 10. We can go up, talk to this guy. You're healed. Go get him, Tiger. Now we're back at 10 out of 10. We could use that same method. So if we wanted to make a shop, what we would need to do is in the battles on the enemy attack, we would say, just copy those over. PL experience plus equals EXP give, which was declared at the top here. The nice thing about doing it this way is you can make it so different enemies have different amounts that they give for each thing. Whoa, what did I do? I got lucky. So we've got 20 money, no experience. Come down in here. We win. Now we have 30 money and no experience. Why is that? EXP give. Because I got one of these wrong. Oh, you know what I probably did? You know what it probably is? Player. That's what it is. He. PL EXP, not PL experience. There we go. So one thing that I learned is that everything is just functions as a currency. So leveling up, you could in theory do it in this screen. You would make it so whenever you press A in this screen, it opens up a menu and then you can spend experience. But if you wanted to buy stuff, you would go to this person. What do you want? And then you buy something. Which, hey, let's try it. So this person, we'll say menu at 1-1. Why not? Then option sword for how much money do we have? We have 20 for $50. Then we got to check if PL money is greater than or equal to 50, then PL attack plus equals 5. Say, you look good holding that. Ooh, you know what? I have an idea. If it's this, if you have the money, then it does this. If you don't have the money, say something like, no one wants to work anymore. So let's go chat them up. What are you after, Chumbo? Buy a sword. No one wants to work anymore. Okay, fine. I think we got to beat 3 of these dudes. Nothing will happen if we die, so... And we probably won't die statistically. So now we've got enough money. Obviously, we got to go get healed. You're healed. Hooray. Ooh, I could make the healer cost money, but, you know. Buy. You look good holding that. Now our attack is 10. We should be able to take these guys out in one go. Come on. Come on. Yeah, there we go. So there's a little game. This ended up taking a little longer than I thought. Hopefully the editing will get it down to a reasonable length. But thank you so much for checking this out. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that somebody out there gets interested in Pulp because of it. I didn't really know anything about games 2 years ago when the Playdate came out. And between the power of Pulp and PIGSquad and all of that stuff and just like sharing knowledge and even just concepts I had sort of taken up from following game maker tutorials, like all game dev stuff, it all comes together. It all feeds, like even if you don't understand one language, the concepts are there. And Pulp is a completely free tool. As you can see, I whipped up a game that sort of, you know, kind of resembles a lot of old school RPGs in what was a literal hour for me, but is hopefully a lot less than that for those watching at home. Yeah, I highly recommend getting into Pulp, even if it's you just want to knock something out real quick. And once again, happy birthday, PIGSquad. What a treat, what a delight. Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'll see ya on the Discord. I'll see ya at the events. And if you want, you can check out Initial Daydream for Playdate. I made it in Pulp, and it's like this, but I spent a year doing it instead of an hour. All right. Thanks, everyone.